Hello and welcome to another edition of Talkin' Tunes. I am your host, Frank Walsh. Thanks for tuning in. You might remember the last show that we introduced to you Hattie Barrett, and she told her uplifting and still heartbreaking story about what she's been going through with pancreatic cancer. And along the way, she dropped a couple of names who have been very influential and very helpful in her life. One of the names she mentioned was Allie Kaufman. And Allie and I had crossed paths at several of the events that we've had for Shorte, and she is a lovely woman. And Allie has some things, I'm sure, that she wants to say, not only to Hattie, but also to you about this affliction and what we can do about it. So Allie, first of all, thank you for being here and welcome.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor, an absolute honor. I got to pull up once to Hattie's lovely home and wave at her through the window.
Yeah.
So getting to actually mask up and be together, albeit very safely, is quite an honor.
Yeah.
Anytime I get to be in the presence of this gal is an absolute treat.
Well, you
so
can
thank
feel
you for
her
having
presence
me.
anywhere she goes, even though she's always hiding in the background, you know, she's always with us somewhere. But you have a little bit of a life too, you know, we were talking a little about this morning mojo thing, so why don't you talk a little bit about you before we start talking about Hattie?
Well, you know, I've been very lucky. I kind of fell into the whole music thing, and one thing led to another, you know, through commercials and voiceovers, then got into radio, and I think through Morning Mojo that really opened up a lot of doors for me. It's a public radio, so it's not for profit, and it gives me a lot of leeway to really, you know, just play the music that I love. And some of the music I really love is courtesy of Shorte Billups.
Of course.
And that, of course, led me to Miss Hattie. And it's more than the music connection.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't have them on today, but we share a great love of boots. And I've got to say, I just knew we were kindred spirits at that point. And I just feel so lucky. She is just such a great spirit,
Yes.
a strong woman, and you know, someone that you hope to find people like this to surround yourself with.
Absolutely. And before we go on, I think that you and I should switch roles.
Okay.
I have the face for radio, and you have the face for television. So I think we should kind of reverse roles.
Frank, I think we're okay. All we need now are eyes.
Oh, thank
right?
God for the mask. I forgot about that. They're lucking out today. They don't get to see my eyes. But we have to put a little bit of humor in here.
We have to.
And I see you laughing over there under that mask. But anyway, let's get back to a more serious note. And, you know, being the dear friend that you are of Hattie and knowing her as long as you do and having the connections you do, what was your first reaction when you got that phone call?
My first reaction was, you know, your heart feels that it's being squeezed. My second reaction was, and I remember thinking this, that if anyone's going to get the miracle or is going to do the treatments and get through it, this woman will do that. And I have felt that every day. My own experience, my mom actually now is fighting cancer. And again, it's amazing what they've done with the drugs and what they found that can help now that they didn't have even a couple years ago.
Right.
And then my dad, going way back, had pancreatic cancer. And something that, you know, Hattie talked about in the first show, how important it is to get tested. You don't want to wait until you have symptoms and then you know, you get dragged to the doctor or something. It's so important, and I'm just so respectful that in everything you're going through, Hattie, that you are looking out of yourself and what you're dealing with and reaching out to people and explaining how very important it is to make the call to your doctor, to be proactive about your own health. It's so important to be your own advocate.
Absolutely.
It is. And I also want to add something that I know personally with my dad. My dad did have an operation. He had the Whipple procedure, actually done by the guy that invented it. He was lucky enough to be at UConn in the timing. But the thing is, when you hear from doctors, and of course they mean well, but they're not God. So
Exactly.
I know in our case, when he was given a diagnosis and how they thought it was going to go, I wasn't having it. I said, that's fine, that's their opinion. But let's go forward with faith and our brains and try to research and do the best we can. And 6 years later, it wasn't even the pancreatic that ended up being, why we had to say goodbye. But I bring that story because I think it's so important to hold on to your faith and believe that you can do it. There's no reason you can't. So I admire Hattie so much for, again, reaching out of what she's dealing with and doing something like this. As terrific she is as promoting everybody, I've always known Hattie to be a private person. Her faith is strong, and you don't need to be the biggest megaphone all the time. And I've just always been so in awe of her quiet faith and her strength. And I know that that's going to see her through now, but it's just so important that everybody out there, again, be proactive, get the testing done. And, I don't think there's anyone really that hasn't either been touched by cancer, had a family, a friend, someone that has dealt with this. So if there's one thing that you take away from this, again, is be strong, but also be proactive and be your best advocate. And if you're lucky enough to have, where Hattie has her wonderful sister and Shortay, and if you're lucky enough to have people around you that are supportive, let them help you. Tape record if you go to an appointment. Maybe put your phone on record, and so you can digest what they're telling you maybe later on, because I'm sure, when you're in there and they're telling you this, it's sometimes hard to really think about the words. I'm sure some of it's a blur. So, use your faith, lean on your friends and your family. We all want to be there for you, even if it's just to be silent. And we were saying earlier, it's so hard not to hold your hand.
Absolutely.
But again, I mean, that's some of the things that come to mind, and just very few of the things that I truly admire about this wonderful woman. So I know we're all gonna, watch your show and watch the progress. I know I told Hattie about remembering how medicine has come so far, and they're constantly making improvements and discovering new things. So it's important to keep the faith, be proactive, and if you're lucky enough to meet a gal like this, you hang on to them tight. I mean, she will not shake me. It's just impossible. But we're going to watch her progress, and I think it's wonderful that she has opened up her home and is telling her story to not only let people know, but to really help people. I'm not surprised. I'm just honored to get to hitch my wagon to her and go along for the ride.
That's beautifully said. I mean, I can feel your energy. I want to reach
I just
over
love
and
her
give
so
you a
much.
hug.
It's so difficult.
I want
Thank
to give
you.
you a hug. And, I think that your message is certainly an important one and a strong one. And I think, during the COVID times, and that it almost applies, in a different way to COVID, because people say, well, if you get sniffles or if you have the signs of a cold, you get a sore throat, don't just say, oh, it's only a cold, or, oh, it's only a sniffle, go and get yourself checked. And it's the same type of a thing here. And, once we hit certain ages, I know that, they're more prevalent at certain ages. And we talked a little off camera about, with your husband, we were talking about a prostate cancer scare. And now you said, wow, I'm going to get my husband
Absolutely. We're all getting appointments.
to make sure that he goes and gets a prostate exam, gets that checked, because, that's like this. It sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know about it until it's too late. But with a little bit of the time that we have, why don't you talk a little about how you two met? How you two got together?
I don't remember. I
want to just jump in there. You sure it wasn't she was with Shorty and Shorty tried to pick you up in the bar?
Oh, I think it was me going after him, and
No,
Hattie stepped in and said, wait a minute.
I think it was Shorty trying to pick you up in the bar,
It's been so long, I don't remember.
I like to say, this
How long have you known each other? And
It's been years, but
Years, but I don't remember how we met.
I call it, I don't remember a time BH, that's before Hattie.
Okay.
Because you've got that spirit that has just woven your way through, and part of it is we were blessed enough to, the times that we ran into each other, it was always music
Yep.
and fun. And I remember you inviting me to Massachusetts. They did that wonderful show outside.
Right,
Yes.
Somerville.
Oh,
Yeah.
it just,
There's never not been a time when I've called her and she says no. I'll tell her that I need her, and she's always showed up or come.
You've
And then-
spoken very highly about her,
Right,
about
I
her
love
to
her.
Allie.
it's a
today
mutual
in our
admiration
conversation.
society for sure.
And you're absolutely right. Hattie's the type of a woman where, we would not see each other all the time.
Yeah.
We'd have a couple of occasional phone calls, and then when we see each other, but it's one of those, we hadn't seen each other for several months, And then when we started talking on the phone, it was like we talked yesterday.
Yesterday,
Just like it was yesterday, and it was like no awkwardness, no oddness. It's just like, hey Frank, how you doing? How's Laura? Oh, Laura's right here. And next thing you know, we chit chat a little bit, and then you dropped your story on us, and but
I don't think there was a person I wouldn't have wanted to do this with is Frank. That's the
wow.
That's
Don't make me cry. I don't look good crying on camera.
When I was talking to Shote, I said I want to ask Frank
He said you don't look good crying.
if he would help me get the story out.
Thank you, Hattie.
Calling
I'm blessed. I'm honored, and I would have made it hook and crook. And as I say, we've been under quarantine at the studio, and it hasn't been open, and I haven't been able to set foot in there since March 12th, I believe. And so, out of the goodness of the studio's heart, they're allowing some equipment out, and they are going to take care of this, because I told them a little bit of your story, and they're going to be happy to promote this and program it and get it out there. We'll put it on YouTube, we'll get it on Facebook.
We'll definitely be sharing it, absolutely.
We'll share the heck out of it. But is there anything else you'd like to say or talk to Hattie about, or
I just want to say thank you.
I
I just want to say thank you, and you are such a strong presence in my life. Maybe we haven't known each other forever, but they say it's never where you go, it's who you're with. And you are someone so special to me. I don't even think I realized all the stuff you had gone through until we saw the first segment that you shot. And my love for you just grows, and I'm so honored that you'd even allow me here. I mean, it's so important to keep your bubble clean. And I will mention that too. I know people are very well-meaning, and I know everyone wants to reach out and help and hug, and even though we're now dealing with this masking, the COVID thing, I've told my mom this. There is no shame in putting a sign on your door that we're compromised or with a white blood cell count. You just have to be so careful. So I would just say to everyone out there and to you that we love you so much, and I know everyone, once they see this, is going to want to. It's going to be, as you said, an outpouring of love and want to do something. Maybe the best way to connect is electronically and vibrationally, because I hope you can feel those vibrations from wherever I am. I'm just so blessed to have a woman like you in my life, and I love you dearly, Miss Hattie.
Yeah, I feel the same.
We got to get you back out there in our boots again,
She makes me smile, Frank, even though she get lost in the woods.
Get lost in the woods.
I love it. Well, it's good to see you smiling, Hattie, and it's good, Allie, that you put a smile on her face.
Whenever I see her on Facebook, she makes me smile.
Oh, well, the same with you, Miss Hattie. You make me giggle so much. I mean, the times that we've had, and talking off stage and stuff. It's just. Everyone should be so blessed to have a Hattie.
Amen.
And I am. So amen and amen.
Amen and amen. Well, Allie, thank you so much for being a part of this, and I'm sure that we're going to talk with you again, and we're going to include you in the future.
Oh, I hope so.
So thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick little pause here, and I'll be right back. Well, folks, welcome back. What a performance that Allie put on there. You could really feel the love and the affection shared between Allie and Hattie. But right now, we have another guest that we want to introduce to you, a longtime friend of mine that goes way back to when we were little tykes, believe it or not. And he is an internationally known blues legend. His name is James Montgomery. And if you haven't heard from him, I'm sure that you've been living under a rock for the last many years. And Hattie and James go way back. They are dear friends. They love each other tremendously. He's played together with Shorty Billups, and James is here today to say a few words about Hattie and the struggle that she's going through. And James, welcome aboard, man.
Hey, I'm so excited to be able to be here on this day when Hattie starts her wonderful journey, and I know things are going to go great. One thing about Hattie, I can't say enough about how much I love her. And of course Shorty, but Hattie has such a big heart, and she's always there for people. There's certain people hold the blues community in New England together with a kind of spiritual glue, who aren't the musicians themselves, like May Kramer and Holly Harris, and then right in there with that is Hattie Barrett, who really brings the blues community together with such a big heart, and she's such a kind person. And, and she's very prayerful, and I, and I'm saying prayers for her, and I know that things are going to go well for her on her journey, and I'm just so excited to be able to at least be there on the phone during this COVID-19 thing, where my doctor advised me not to go to leave the house. But anyway, I'm just so happy to be able to tell Hattie how much I love her, and how much the blues community loves her, and that this journey that she's on, she's not going on alone. She's going on on her journey with a group of people who just love her immensely and pray for her intensely, and I love her. What can I say?
Beautifully said, James. And it is a shame that you're not here today. I know we've been talking over the last couple of days, but as you know, this is going to be a continuing series, and we're going to get your face on the screen in the near-distant future. But I'm going to ask you a question.
As soon as this COVID thing gets a little bit more further along, I'm hopeful that during the next couple of months that the cases will go down and the vaccines will start up, and then my doctor will give me the clearance to go and see Hattie and Shorty.
Yep.
And I know we'll see each other, and I know that we'll get together, and I just can't wait to see her lovely face.
Yep. Well, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Allie, is that, you certainly have expressed your love and admiration for Hattie. What was your initial reaction and feeling when you got that phone call from her telling you about her situation?
It was kind of a double reaction. Of course I was shocked and concerned. And when someone you love as much as I love Hattie, when you find out about the situation that's going on, of course. It feels like somebody hit you on the head with a sledgehammer.
Right.
At the same time, knowing how spiritual Hattie is, and knowing her high level of spirituality, and how much she's devoted to prayer and positive thinking, that was my second reaction. Was we're going to get through this with prayer and positive thinking. Because that's what Hattie is all about. She's all about prayer and moving forward with a positive attitude. So initially, it was kind of like being stunned, and then my very second reaction was, we're going to get through this, and with prayer and with her positive attitude and with her love, we're going to come together as people that love her, and we're going to make sure that she gets through this, and have a great time next Christmas when we can all actually get together.
Beautifully said, James. Beautifully said. Yeah. And I know, Hattie, why don't you respond to that and say something to James here?
I'm looking forward to him. I love James. We've been friends now for 18 or more years. He is the one that gave Shorty the Boston Blues Award, and from day one when I met James, there was like a spiritual connection. See, a lot of people don't know James like I know him. He is a prayerful person. Sometimes he's an entertainer, but yet and still he's grounded in the Lord, and I know that. So I love him, and I appreciate him.
You're making me cry over here. I'm just so happy to hear you and to hear your voice. And like I say, Hattie, I'll say it again. My first reaction was I was stunned, and my second reaction is we're just gonna pray to the Lord, and we're gonna take all of your positive energy and roll it into a ball and get through this and come out on the other end even more spiritual than we are when we go into it. So,
right, exactly.
And we have known each other for a long time, Hattie, and thank you also taking care of Shorty, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you need somebody to watch over him, and I'm glad the Lord sent you.
Well, I think that's a good time to end on a laugh, James. I know that you have to run. You have a lot of stuff going on. But first of all, James, thanks again for coming on today. And as I said, this is going to be a continuing series, and you are going to be taking that journey with us every step of the way. And I want to wish you good luck in some of the projects that you're working on as well.
Well, thank you, and I'm you know, I'm an old guy, so I'm supposed to be getting the vaccine pretty soon, and as soon as that happens, I'm driving out to Enfield to see Shorty and see Hattie and sit about 10 feet away from him and have a glass of wine.
Well, we were saying,
I love you, Hattie, with
Love
all
you
my
too.
heart, and I know the Lord loves you, and
Yes,
you
He
can't go
does.
wrong. When the Lord loves you, you can't go wrong.
Yes, he does.
well, you thanks again,
Bye-bye,
James.
guys.
You take care,
Bye-bye.
James. Thanks for
Talk
calling
to you
in.
soon.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, folks, as you can see, Hattie has another admirer, and it's none other than the great James Montgomery. So we're going to take a quick little pause, and we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from the great blues legend James Montgomery. And it's pretty evident that the outpouring of love that he expressed not only matches what you've heard before, but I'm sure what you're going to hear again as we continue this process. But right now, I am sitting next to Henrietta Barrett, who is Hattie Barrett's sister. And we're going to take a couple of minutes and hear what Henrietta has to say and how this has affected her and what it is going to do going forward as far as their relationship. So, Henrietta, thank you for being on.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about how this has affected you, because I know that you and Hattie are so close.
I think sometimes that she gets very emotional
Yeah.
when it comes to me because Henrietta has been the one that has taken care of me even when I was growing up. So it's sort of difficult for her to talk about it. So you have to ask her question and then she'll answer what you're saying.
Yeah. I wish I could hold your hand. I know how difficult this is for you. So, how has this affected you, Henrietta?
I can't explain it. I can't.
A devastating blow to you, I'm sure.
Yes, because I'm so used to her taking care of me, and now I'm taking care of her. And that is very hard. She, not only this, she is my sister. She is my whole support of things that I don't understand to do. All I have to do is ask her what is going on as things that I don't understand. So I can say as a sister, as a friend, and something like a mother also, although I'm the oldest, but that's just the way I feel. That as far as, with her.
See, she had a stroke.
Yeah.
She didn't mention that she had a stroke.
Okay.
And she has aphasia. And, it's hard. She lost some of the memory of when we was kids. Right. And I can remember some of this stuff and a lot of the stuff that she forgot how to do. So I've always been there, like, to support.
Right.
And I've always been very protective of her, the way she was protective of me when I was a girl. So it's very difficult for her, and I appreciate her so much because she's here and she helped me, and I watches her face and I know that she's concerned and I know that she's worried about me. And we pray a lot together. We read the Bible and we talk about, our childhood things. I know she's supposed to be talking, but as usual, I'm always talking for her.
I know it's difficult for her.
Yeah, it's very difficult for her. It's very difficult for my whole family, to deal with this. Because again, I've always been the one to go to.
Right.
Because with me being the nurse in the family, I've always been the one to go to, and I've always been the strongest one. So it's sort of difficult for them to deal with this. I have a sister right now in Georgia by Ola Barrett, she's devastated because she can't come. And we've always been, my mama was one thing, she always wanted us to stick together. You know, so now that we've gotten older, and again, I am the youngest of the family, it's difficult, you know, because I think my sister wonder what she's going to do without me. But, you know, it's hard. It's very hard for her. And I appreciate her and love her so much.
Well, being the younger sister, Hattie, how were those hand-me-downs?
Well, see, I always had the better shape. I was bigger than them, so I didn't have to do their hand-me-downs.
Because how many sisters do you have? I know you have a couple.
It's 3 of us.
You have 3 of them?
Yeah, it's 3 of us.
Really?
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, it's pretty evident, you know, between the 2 of you, the love that you share.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, the one common bond is that you touched on is that you both have a very strong faith.
Yeah, we was raised like that, Frank. We didn't have much when we was coming up. We had love and faith.
Right.
And my mama made sure on Sundays we was in church all day long.
Right.
So, and then too, I have uncles that's ministers, you know. So we was always in the Bible.
Right.
You know, and then I got a tutor that sits on the sideline over there that don't. He knows the word.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Shorte Phillips, believe me,
Mm-hmm.
he can do a sermon for you.
Oh, I'm sure he can. The Reverend Shorte.
Reverend Shorte, I tell him he misses calling all the time, but he knows the word.
Right.
Yeah.
But I know that you know, you're in a position now where kind of the roles have reversed. You know, you're taking care of her, but you know, even though she may be you know, flat out there and not able to go out and do the cha-cha right now, she still has a mouth on her, and I bet she still barks some orders, and she makes herself known. I'm sure, right?
At times.
At times.
Yeah.
Fess up, Patty. Tell me the truth.
Yeah,
I can still hear you in the back of my head, bossing Shorte and bossing Henrietta around.
Me?
No, the person next to you.
Oh no, she don't do that.
No, I'm talking about you.
Me?
Yeah, bossing around, even though you're laid up there. I bet you still have that
No.
little drill sergeant going on.
No, I don't.
No?
I'll ask for stuff. I don't do that, and I don't do that. I never been like that. You know, I ask. You know, it's something that I can't do myself, then I ask.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been labeled as being too flip, because if I ask you and you don't do it, then I'm going to do it myself. Yeah.
Well, you know, for the sake of time, Henrietta, is there any last thing that you would like to say, maybe to say to Hattie or say to the people out there about anything?
I'm trying to make sure that I'm saying the words.
That's okay. Take your time. Take your time.
Not knowing everything regarding my sister, and I feel like some things I can't ask her because I don't want to know.
I understand.
Because I realize that
It's so hard not to hold your hand.
It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
We're going to be all right. And you've heard the faith
I
and you've heard the
know
love.
that I know that she's gonna be okay. I know through faith she will be fine. I pray that not only that God, what's the word I want? Heal her from the top of her head to the sole of her feet.
And not only is Hattie going to be okay, you are going to be okay too.
Yeah,
Because love goes 2 ways.
Right.
The love that you're giving is being returned to you by everyone around you. So not only is Hattie going to be okay, so are you. So on that note, folks, I want to say thank you for tuning in. I want to thank Laura Walsh for doing the camera work. I want to thank Smack TV for allowing me to do this. And of course, Hattie, I want to thank you. And Henrietta.
Thank you.
And Ms. Kaufman, who was on today, and James Montgomery. So folks, this is not the last that you're going to hear about this. So until that time, I am Frank Walsh. Tune in and tune on.